Welcome to the Williamsville Public Library and Museum. Today is Wednesday, August 23rd, and we're here to talk to Bob Black about his life in Williamsville and a little bit about Black hardware. So you mentioned that you chose to stay in Williamsville, even though your job required you to drive quite a bit. So what made you want to stay in Williamsville?
It had always been my home. We really didn't want to move up and have to find a place in a big town. We wanted to stay in a small town, and so we stayed in Williamsville. And that was my decision to drive, or out a lot of vehicles,
But it was worth it?
it's worth it. Yeah.
So what do you think the advantages are of living in a small town, especially Williamsville?
Well, for one thing, you pretty well know everybody. I learned a lot of the people because I carried the newspaper for several years. My oldest sister, she carried the newspaper in the south end of town, and I carried it in the north end.
Which newspaper?
The Journal. I don't remember who carried the register, but I had my route all set up so that the last place that I had to deliver was my grandparents, because I knew I was going to get breakfast.
Nice. You delivered the paper before school then, on weekdays?
Yeah, before school.
Okay, and was there a certain time you had to get it delivered by on the weekends?
No, even on weekends, it all came at the same time.
Okay.
They dropped it off. That's when the Interurban used to go through here, and they had the depot, and the newspaper was always dropped off at the Interurban depot.
Did you ever take the Interurban?
Oh yes, I used to take it to Springfield and walk from the east end of Springfield uptown to a movie, and then walk back, get on Interurban, and go home. So
Okay.
once in a while, I'd have a lady friend would go with me.
Okay.
They'd have to stop at Sherman to pick her up.
We still have the depot here in town. Are there other parts of Williamsville history that you want to see preserved, or when you think of Williamsville and you think of things that you want the next generation to see and to know about?
Well, I think the arch in the park is one of the most important things for the village of Williamsville. And now you said something about the depot still being here. That was not the depot for the Interurban.
Okay.
There was a depot north of there. That was the depot for the Interurban itself.
At the time, there were two sets of railroad tracks, correct?
Yes. In fact, at one time the railroad itself had two sets of tracks, and it got to be pretty dangerous because you could have the lights to know that there was a train coming from the north, and as soon as it passed, there could be one coming from the south, because the lights would still be working, and you still hear the whistle blow.
When you mentioned the depot, the Interurban, the arch, is there anything else about Williamsville history that you'd like to see preserved?
Basically, the name and all the businesses that used to be here.
Okay.
And there used to be three grocery stores, and up there on the one street, you had a grocery store, and then had a drugstore, and then a restaurant, and then the telephone company, and it was all in a row. I didn't see it, but upstairs at one of the buildings, there used to be a theater years ago. East part of town, there was a big building, used to be a roller rink here in Williamsville. Those are things, though, that was gone before I got to them.
So there was a little bit more variety in the types of businesses in Williamsville back in the day, is what you're saying? Okay. As you were growing up and raising your family here, were there any particular people that you look up to or that kind of helped you along through the Masonic Lodge or through other organizations?
Yeah, my father.
And what kind of lessons, or how did he set you on the right path in life?
Well, just one thing, you always be respectful to the older people.
And that's what you passed on to your kids, I assume?
Well, I hope they learned it.
Okay. When you think about your family and other people in your community, what do you want them to remember about you? When they think about Bob Black, what do you want them to think about?
How good looking I am.
Of course. Well, that's the obvious. But aside from the obvious.
Well, along with being on the fire department, I was also a member of the Sangamon County Rescue Squad, which was stationed in Springfield. I joined them in 1964 and stayed there until '83 also. I got to be the chief of the rescue squad for 4 years. Worked on lots and lots of automobile accidents.
So when you think back on your life and all your experiences with work and your family and the community, do you have any words of wisdom for the next generation? Anything that you're hoping the next generation will learn?
Pay your bills. I worked with a fella that hadn't been out of prison too long, and he was a member of our local. And I said, "What you got to say?" He said, "Pay your taxes," because that's why he was in jail.
Okay.
He quit paying his taxes. So, but no, it's if you be fair to the other people, they'll be fair to you. One nice thing about the stores and things that was there, everybody knew everybody. The stores even stayed open on Saturday nights, so people, especially the farmers that couldn't make it during the day or during the week, they could come in on a Saturday night and do business with the grocery stores and hardware store and all of them. They all stayed open.
There's a lot that we've talked about, and I know it's certainly not everything, but is there anything else that comes to mind when you reflect back on West Food or Black Hardware, or entertainment in Williamsville that you remember? I mean, it was you said something about like shows that you would go to. Was there a free show in town that would happen like on a weekly basis?
There's a free show every Wednesday night during the summer.
So who put that on?
I don't know the name of people, but the village hired them.
So was it music or
just a regular movie?
Okay.
They had all different kinds.
And where was it? Where did they have the show?
In the boulevard uptown.
Anything else then in terms of like the businesses or entertainment or friends or family or Williamsville as a whole that you want to reflect on or share with others?
No, I just miss all the businesses. Like now we don't even have a grocery store. The vehicle drive through uptown and you might see one or two cars up there, and the rest of the town just looks like it's empty.
So you miss the variety of businesses that we used to have.
Yes.
Thinking right now though, what is it that you still like about living in Williamsville since you're still here?
I love being in a small town.
And you enjoy having your family around, I assume?
Yeah, like I say, two of my children live within a mile of town. Wife and I have had a very good marriage. Hope it lasts a lot longer.
69 years, huh?
Yeah. Thursday, the 25th, we will celebrate our 69th wedding anniversary.
Congratulations.
There's people ahead of us, like the one right there.
We are part of the Williamsville Public Library Museum, and as such, the museum side of us, we happen to have a school bell that you have a connection to. So I was wondering if you could just spend a couple minutes to tell us about that school bell.
I bought the old school property, and it had that like a 2.5-story building, cupola like up on top where the bell was. To tear the building down, I had to take all that off. Borrowed some ropes and things from the job I worked on, and pulleys, and by myself took that bell down out of that building, sold it to Jane Groves. Yeah, I sold her the bell. I wish I'd have kept, but at the time I sold it to her, I needed the money.
So that money went towards building your house on the site of the former school, is that correct?
Yeah, eventually, yeah. I bought that piece of property in 1959, but I didn't build a house on it, and get moved in 82.
Okay, so what happened in that span of time?
I worked a lot of hours.
Okay.
I traveled a lot. If the work run out through our local, I would travel. In 53, I went to Florida to work. Was down there for 2 months. The wife and the kids came down. We rented a duplex, vacation for people, of course, down there.
Sure.
And I worked around the country pretty much. Didn't want to just draw unemployment. It's hard to live on when you got 4 children. So I would travel and go to the other locals, and being a welder, I helped. Went to Florida. When I went to Florida, I called them and asked them about work, and they said, if you can make a welding test, you can go to work. And I said, I'll be down. Made the test and went to work.
So you've seen a lot of things, gone a lot of places, done a lot of things, and still come back to Williamsville, huh?
Yeah, we always come back home. We got back from Florida just in time for them to start school.
Excellent timing. I'm sure your kids really appreciated that.
Yeah. We went down there in Florida. We went to Disney World and went across over to see where they had the outer space,
The Space Center.
Over there. We went a lot of, we did a lot of traveling while I was there. The first month I was there, I worked the day shift, and then the second month I was there, I worked the night shift, which gave us a lot more time. I used to go up and down the beach, pick things up. Everything I saw I wanted to pick up. My wife wouldn't let me have it. We enjoyed it.
So now, what do you find yourself doing in your free time now?
My time now,
Yeah. What do you do for fun?
I go fishing.
All right. Where at?
Havana,
All right.
in the Illinois River.
Okay.
In 1954, my dad bought a summer cabin over there off of Vasconcells here in town. When he passed away in 1983, I bought that cabin out of his estate. We don't use it that much anymore, but we still got it. We was over there a couple of weeks ago. My oldest daughter and her family was over, and they came over and spent a night over there. That's where I go fishing.
Well, thank you for taking your time away from fishing to come and talk to us today.
Too hot to go fishing.
Well, it is August. All right, so thanks again to Bob Black for sharing your history, your local history and memories and reflections on Williamsville. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Duct work down in the basement and stuff. Do you remember that story about
Yeah.
Mom complaining about, because she was watching Peyton Place. Remember Peyton Place?
Yeah.
She was watching Peyton Place, and you were always downstairs working when that was on.
We worked, busy as we worked a lot of evenings.
Right.
And we knew what time that came on, so we made extra noise for your mother, you know. But
So his
Yeah.
mom was trying to watch a show, and you would
Yeah.
purposely make noise.
they didn't have running water
Right.
in the bathroom in the house for a long time.
Yeah.
And I went out there to put a new bathroom in. I remember she came in and she said, "I want the bathroom finished. I made my last trip out back." So I got the room all set up, and I got the tub in there and things, and time to go home. And I said to Dad, I said, "Have you got a tractor funnel?" And he said, "Yeah." And he went and got it, gave it to me, and I set it down in the hole where the stool's going to sit. And I got a catalog and laid it on the tub. I said, when she gets home, tell her it's ready to use.
So that was Bathrooms by Black.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
he used to raise a dick, and I think she was serious about that. When you guys they'd wait till that show came on, like 8 or 9 o'clock, whenever it was, and they'd
Yeah.
be banging on that,
Yeah.
on that ductwork down there, and Mommy stomping on the floor. I'm trying to
It's not
watch
like
the
you could
show.
record it.
Huh?
It's not like you could record
No,
it.
you couldn't.
What else?
Yeah, no,
Next
you could
day?
record it back then. So, yeah, Chuck and I tell that story quite a bit, and Ricky, he tells me that story every once in a while too, because
Yeah.
he knows it as well. So, one of my favorite
Yeah.
stories. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Black, I appreciate your time. Thanks for letting us get to know you better. And thanks for sharing your memories of Williamsville with us.